Welcome to my GSPN Live. You're here with your host, Robert Brown.
And Jose Rodriguez.
And we're back for a great Wednesday show. It is Pro Wednesday, but before we jump into it, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Garden Grocer, for having us on the air. If you're in the Disney Resort area, go to www.gardengrocer.com. Place an order for whatever you need, drinks, snacks, food, any type of groceries. It'll be delivered to your resort at the time of your arrival. Again, that's www.gardengrocer.com. Place the order, and it'll be there for you. Let's jump right into it. It's been a while, but we do have a couple games for Florida baseball. The weather let up a little bit, so some scores from games that were played on May 18th.
Yeah.
So it's been that long, but Haggerty Huskies took on St. Cloud and got the victory 5-1. So they'll be moving on. As well with that, Timber Creek took on Osceola. They won 4-3.
It was a close game.
That was the closest game of the ones that were played for the Central Florida area. And then Dr. Phillips took on Boone and also got the victory 7-3.
The next games coming up in the 21st are going to be Timber Creek against Vero Beach, and then the latest updated scores from 9:40 through 9:49 p.m. Sorry about that. Are the 9A regional finals, which is Dr. Phillips Panthers at Lake Mary Ramsden. It was 5-3, and then the 8A regional finals, the Huskies against George Jenkins, which they took the L against George Jenkins and were eliminated going further into the regional finals.
Now there are some other games that are going to make up the Final Four for the state. The last 4 games that are going to be played, those games got rained out, so we're waiting for the weather to ease up a little bit all around the country, or all around the state, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think today's only the first sunny day in a while.
Yeah, it has been. And actually, that's the same exact thing for softball. We've been kind of telling you there's some games coming up at historic Dodgertown for the 9A, 8A. There's some 4A, 3A, and 2A games for Central Florida schools, really the Orlando type area. All those games got rained out, so we're waiting to kind of get when they'll play again. Maybe they'll move locations. Just depending on what's happening there, we'll update you when we get updated. We like to take a look around the country. We try to do this every show to look at all parts of the country, not just the Florida, Central Florida area.
Kids that are doing good, not only in Florida but in Texas, Arizona, California, etc.
In this situation, a lot of times, this is a top 10 for high school basketball going into next year. It's a really early look at it. There's a lot of Florida teams on it, a lot of teams we've talked about. Some teams we talk about almost every show. You can guess who that is. So let's dive into it with this top 10. The number 1 school on the list finished second in the country last year at the Geico National Championship in high school. It is University from Fort Lauderdale. They are loaded and they are ready and really primed to have another state championship year and a national championship year.
And not only that, to finish second in the whole country, you got to think about the big powerhouses in the countries like Oak Hill, Mater Dei, and a lot of different other schools that have a lot of, for example, like another one, Montverde, that did not finish first as well. Yeah. So a lot of talent out there in the country, and kudos to this team.
And they're led by either the number 1 or number 2 player in the country, depending on what rankings you look at, Vernon Carey in the class of 2019. And then Scotty Barnes is a 6'8" small forward for the class of 2020. He's also ranked in the top 10, top 5, depending on your ranking. So I've got him top 5. He's a fantastic talent. Jump shot right now isn't where it needs to be, but that's something you can grow and develop into.
He's still high school.
Yeah, you can't teach some of the things that he does at 6'8" with the rebounding, the vision, the pushing up the floor. So he's a great player. We go on to number 2, Sunrise Christian Academy from Bel Air. They had a great record last year at 23-2. Some other teams played more games, like University was 36-2. So, but they were extremely dominant throughout the entire year.
And that's what you'd expect having a 7-foot center.
Yeah.
That's NBA style right there. Just lob it up and.
But then on their wings, they've got a 6'7" and a 6'6" guy running the wing. So
it's not even fair either.
Yeah, and you probably got a 6'8", 6'9" power forward down there too. So it's a giant team.
It's hard to guard.
We go on to another one of those powerhouses you were talking about in IMG Academy, another Florida school. They were 22-5 last year. They're led by Josh Green and Noah Franklin. They're very, very good players, very good guards, very quick. Franklin is on the wing. He's a very smooth slasher. IMG prepares players not just for the college level, but they had a kid this year skip college, He didn't play on their high school team. He played on their prep team and is entering in the draft this year and probably will get drafted. So
I think so.
yeah, they're a team that, you know, they really do prepare you for life after high school.
And it is an academy.
Yeah.
It's not a regular high school. You know, their main focus is sports, not the grades and all that stuff.
It is. And you still have to get the grades, but, you know, the important part is preparing you
Athletics,
for athletics. We want to skip down the list a little bit to number 5, Sierra Canyon. He kind of jumped on the map because of Marvin Bagley Jr. went there. He attended Duke. He'll be a top 5 pick coming in this year. But they've got Kenyon Martin Jr. and Scottie Pippen Jr. You know, 2 Hall of Fame NBA players. These are their sons playing on that team. They had a fantastic year previous their junior year. Now they're seniors. They should win everything and compete for a national championship. We want to continue down the list. There are teams like DeMatha, another powerhouse name in basketball you should definitely know about. Shadow Mountain is led by Mike Bibby. Mm-hmm. He's, you know, doing a fantastic job coaching. You know, jumping into that. It's a different field than basketball. You know,
and not only that,
they're playing at least.
They're playing. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. But it's not pro. It's not college, and it's high school. But it's still basketball. It's still the game he loves.
70 in a row is still 70 wins in a row. That's hard to do at any level. AAU, rec league, it's difficult.
Pro,
yeah.
It's hard.
You know, staying on this list, and our last 2 schools we have to talk about. It just wouldn't be our show if you didn't hear about Montverde, but we've got them number 9 on our list right now. They were 35-0 last year, which, you know, you would expect them to probably be the number 1, number 2 team. You know, these other teams have so much returning talent that has been together and has gotten used to playing with each other.
Yeah.
Montverde's going to bring in a brand new squad like they do most years. You know, all their guys are going. Oak Hill, the same situation. All their guys are basically leaving, going to college, so they're having a brand new team come in. We still respect them. You have to keep them in the top 10 nationally because of what they've done. But, you know, until you see how well they play together and how well these coaches get them going, they'll stay on the list, but they'll stay towards the bottom.
Same thing with Montverde. You know, they've had guys go pro. For example, like the D'Angelo Russells, the Ben Simmons. A lot of people may not know, but Joel Embiid also attended Montverde.
That's a year there.
So, you know, a lot of big talents going up in and out of Montverde. So, kind of like you said about Oak Hill, it is good to put that school there only for the respect that it has done in the past.
And they'll definitely, Montverde was 44-2, so, you know, they'll be on that list moving up and up throughout the year once games get played.
That's true.
We'd like to take this time to give a quick commercial from our sponsor, so we hope you enjoy. Welcome back. This is Pro Wednesday, so let's jump into our pro sports. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. We have the Eastern Conference Final, Game 7, that is going on tonight. That will be played at 8 p.m. over in Tampa. Again, Tampa Bay has the number 1 seed in the playoffs this year. They'll have home court advantage if they can get this victory going into the Stanley Cup Final.
It's going to be a tough one. You know, they got to play the Washington Capitals, and if they do beat them on Game 7, they also got to face a very tough opponent in the West with the Vegas Senators. It is going to be really
the Las Vegas Knights.
The Knights, that's what it is, not the Senators.
Brand new team. This is their first year, and you know, with this being their first year, they win the Western Conference Finals. They were the number 1 seed in the West, and they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. Hopefully, to play against our Tampa Bay Lightning, our local area team. So,
and it's gonna be pretty. You know, it's pretty ironic. You know, it doesn't even snow in Florida, and we have the number 1 seed when it comes to hockey. You know, you would expect that from a team way up north, like, you know, in Washington or even in Canada, exactly. So, you know, good luck to them, and hopefully they win.
And we do have 1 Stanley Cup championship in 2004. They've got 2 conference championships, so this will hopefully be the 3rd going tonight. Again, that game is at 8 p.m. If you can go catch it, hopefully there's some tickets available. If you can go out and check. If not, it'll be on TV. We'll update our website and let you know what channel those are on, so please tune in and catch that. Sticking with it, MLS soccer, we had a friendly match yesterday.
International friendly
match. I'll actually let you take this.
Yeah, it was actually pretty fun. You know, the second team from LA, actually pretty new team, the Los Angeles Football Club, going up against Borussia Dortmund. And I actually thought Dortmund was going to put up a better fight than what they did. You know, LA looked like the more dominant team out there on the court. And it was crazy, you know. LA had 11 corners. Borussia Dortmund only had about 3 or 2. Yeah. And they also had more fouls than LA. So LA looked like the dominant team when it came to who had that possession. But when it came to the stats, it was actually a pretty even game. You know, possession was about 50-50 on both teams. And LA had more shots on target when it came to goals. So I figured, you know, they have more chances to score.
That was shocking to me.
Yeah.
They definitely looked like they should have won the game. They were the better team.
Yeah.
You know,
and it is a shocker because we're talking about not trying to bring down, you know, MLS comparing to leagues in Europe, but the leagues in Europe are way more advanced when it comes to talent and the way that they play compared to the way they play here in the United States. So it was just a very confusing game to me, seeing LA attacking the way they were attacking in comparison to how Borussia Dortmund was a little bit shy when it came to the attacking force. But either way, it was a great game. You know, it ended up 1-1 as a tie, and it was just friendly, a match, and it was
it's great to see MLS competing with the clubs over in Europe and the bigger name teams. Like a lot of people know this name, this club. So for us to compete and you know it ends in a draw, we'll take it.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty good that we're actually doing this like this because in the past, when it comes to international friendlies coming all the way from Europe, it is mostly for the MLS All-Star games.
Yep.
And sometimes we even have a tough time with the best players on the MLS, you know, defeating a random team from Europe.
Yeah.
And I personally think that's a little bit embarrassing.
Real Madrid came the other year and defeated us. Manchester United, I think, came over and played us one year at the All-Star. So, you know, it's exciting to see our MLS grow. Hopefully it'll continue to grow. And hopefully, you know, Orlando City will get a championship.
Oh, yeah, this is a big step. You know, this is a great step because you're talking about one team going against one team, not individuals from all over the MLS going at a certain team. Exactly. So it is a big step for the MLS. And hopefully and continuously we'll see growth like this on every individual team.
Sticking in Europe, we had a EuroLeague Final Four. Zalgiris Kaunas played Fenerbahce from Istanbul, which was the defending champion. Istanbul gets the victory 76-67. Jan Veasley, who was on the All EuroLeague team, he had 8 points and 3 rebounds. We had Real Madrid take on CSKA Moscow, who won the championship 2 years ago. Real Madrid gets the victory 92-83. You know, there's NBA players all over this matchup, especially, but Sergio Rodriguez had 5 points. Luka Doncic had 16 points. Sergio Llull had 16 points. All 3 of these people have either played in the NBA or will be playing in the NBA very, very soon. Now, that was the Final Four. We have the third place game. CSK Moscow loses to Zalgiris Kaunas. I was not expecting this. Looking at the score and kind of the stat sheet on this.
I mean, it was like a Houston Golden State game. It was only by not 1 point, but by 2 points. It was a really close game.
Yeah, very. You know, I would not have projected that. Yeah, I think CSK Moscow is the biggest budget in the EuroLeague, and every year they put out a Final Four, an elite team, and you know they're just not supposed to.
Yeah, you having the experience of playing out there in Europe, you know, for you it must be a pretty good shocker. Not seeing
that's huge. That's huge for them not to be in the championship game, or you know, not to win this third place game. Yeah, that's. You might see their whole entire team be a new team next year.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We move on. We have the championship game. Real Madrid takes on Fenerbahce from Istanbul. Again, Fenerbahce's second consecutive year in this championship game, but
it loses.
Real Madrid gets the victory 85-80. Brad Wanamaker from Fenerbahce had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Had an absolutely fantastic game. Did what he could to keep them in. But the real story here, Luka Doncic had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Remember that name. Later on in this list, you'll hear it a few times.
Oh, in the draft.
Yeah. So Luka Doncic and Real Madrid get the championship for the EuroLeague for this season. All the awards for EuroLeague came out as well. The second team All EuroLeague from Zalgiris Kaunas, they actually have 2 players, Jan Kunas and Kevin Pangos, who was an American player. Sergio Rodriguez from CSK Moscow, Alex Shavid from Moscow as well, and Spanulis from Olympiacos, is EuroLeague's all-time leading scorer or all-time leading assist guy, and he makes another all EuroLeague team. We go to first team, and this is where it gets really interesting. Nick Kalathis from Panathinaikos, he sets the EuroLeague all-time record for assists at 8 assists a game.
Wow.
He played at the University of Florida, was a very fantastic player there, led them to SEC championships and NCAA tournament. He actually played at Lake Howell with Chandler Parsons. They were really good friends. They actually went to Florida together, roomed together. So we've got a local area guy, making
doing his thing out there.
Making first team all EuroLeague, setting EuroLeague records. So it's a huge accomplishment. Nando De Colo from CSK Moscow. He won the MVP 2 years ago. Absolutely fantastic player. Second in EuroLeague this year with 17 points a game, and it's his third consecutive first-team selection.
It's a great player. He's good at what he's doing in Europe right now, but you think he will project the same numbers back in the NBA?
He didn't. He was in the NBA for a little bit. Played with San Antonio for a few years. His game is more European, so he didn't put up those numbers, so he'll be coming back or staying in Europe. And playing with Moscow. They also pay him around like 3 million euros a year.
Yeah, so which is way better than dollars.
Yeah, he'll stay over there. Basconia, another team from Spain. I'm actually not even going to try to pronounce his name. You can take that. But he made the EuroLeague. This is his first season making the first team all EuroLeague. Most points from any power forward or center, averaging 14 points a game. Jan Veasley, as you said, from Fenerbahce, averaged 13 points a game. He's also another big, led his team to the championship for a second consecutive year. So, he's proving that he deserves to be on this list. And again, the youngest ever EuroLeague selection, Luka Doncic, who won his team won the championship.
From Real Madrid, of course.
Averaging 16 points this year. He is, finishes off this list. But not just does he do this, he does everything else. He's on this list a few more times now. The best defender, Kyle Hines, second time winning this award in 3 years. He's from CSK Moscow. Luka Doncic wins the Rising Star Award for the best young player for the second consecutive year. The Turkish Airlines EuroLeague MVP for the season, Luka Doncic, youngest player to ever do that.
Wow.
He was also the youngest player to ever win the Final Four MVP. So this kid has, he set a record for the player rating on the year as well. Youngest player to ever average over 25 in the player rating. So he has done everything he can in Europe. Next step is to show how good he is at the top level in the NBA.
Yeah, I think he's going to need a bigger closet for those trophies as well.
Yeah, he definitely will. Now we do have NBA. We'll go through real quick the games that,
real basketball.
Yeah, some real basketball. Boston, 86, Cleveland, 116. This was game 4. So, just touch you up on that. Jason Tatum had 18. Jaylen Brown had 10. LeBron had his 27 points, 12 assists. 5 other players were in double figures.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, that was game 4. We go Houston, game 4, 85, Golden State 126, a complete blowout. James Harden had 20 and 9 assists. Chris Paul had 13 points, 10 rebounds. Steph Curry had 35 points, absolutely lost his mind. Kevin Durant had 25, Klay Thompson had 13, Draymond had 10. Now, with everything caught up, now we know where we're at. Here we go. Boston, 2 days ago, Boston versus Cleveland. Boston 102, Cleveland 111. This game,
LeBron is a real deal, man.
44 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for the King. I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but when you do think you are the King,
you got to give credit where it's due, man.
He is
I'm not saying LeBron is the number 1 of all time, but if you keep putting up numbers like this, you might be.
The real thing with me is, if someone argues and he keeps doing this, I can't.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah, I'm going to say, oh, no, I feel like Jordan's still the best. I feel like Kobe's better. But, all right, your argument is very sound because LeBron is dominant.
And not only that, he doesn't have that big of a help from his team right now.
Not right now. Kyle Korver had 14. Tristan Thompson had 13 and 12. And,
Kyle Korver, one of the 6 guys, you probably only want 10 points from him off the bench.
Yeah.
He's the one putting more numbers than your starter.
He is. And Boston, I mean, they look good. Jaylen Brown had 25. Jason Tatum had 17. Terry Rozier had 16 and 11. So, they put up the numbers. They just need a little more help across the board.
I agree.
And Game 5 for that will be tonight, Wednesday, May 23rd at 8:30. They're back in Boston. I think the way the series is going, Boston's going to get this win.
Oh, yeah, they can't lose at home.
Yeah, it's going to be home court advantage is what's going to be important. Game 7 at Boston comes down to LeBron being LeBron. I think, that's going to be
the Celtics crowd being the Celtics crowd.
That's going to be the real toss-up. We move on to Houston and Golden State, the closest game so far of these playoffs. Houston 95, Golden State 94. We've got a tied series now and a very exciting series. James Harden had 30 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Chris Paul had 27 points, 4 assists. Late game situations, these two players,
they thrive.
They stepped up, they hit big shot after big shot and got them this win.
And one thing we got to look at closely is with Golden State, if, Steph Curry and KD are going to be neutral. They're going to stay putting up 25, 30 points a game.
Yeah, and Steph had 28 and 6 rebounds. KD had 27 and 12. So.
Exactly. So my point is, for them to start winning games like they did in that blowout on Game 3, is for Draymond Green or either Klay Thompson to step up and at least score 15 points each.
Klay.
It has to be Klay. You guys are called the Splash Brothers way before KD even stepped up into the picture.
Yep.
So if Klay is not putting up 20 points, 15, 16 points a game,
and he had 10 points for.
Yeah, you can't leave all that to KD and
now Draymond though, he did have 11 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. So too short of another triple double for him. He is that glue that kind of holds them together. Lets the other 3 run around and make their plays, and he's just there to support and make winning plays. Game 5 for that will be tomorrow, Thursday, May 24th at 9 p.m. It'll be in Houston. Each team is split a game at home, so home court advantage really doesn't matter right now. So very exciting to see what will be happening. So please tune in.
Yeah, the game to watch is Boston and Tampa Bay Lightning right now.
Yeah, that'll be absolutely fantastic. Any student athlete that would like to be featured on our show, please send us in videos to videos@myGSPN.com, and we'll put them up there for you.
Again, this show today was brought to you by GardenGrocery.com. If you're traveling to the Orlando area, to the Disney Resort area, make sure to go to www.gardengrocery.com so you can purchase all your grocery needs at a low price to save money, time, and spend more time with your family while on vacation.
We thank you for tuning in. We encourage all student athletes to get a player profile page. Go to www.myGSPN.com and sign up for that page, and go to all our social medias. Follow us across the board on those so we can get interacting with you guys and get to know you a little better. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back later for another show.
See you next time.